To me, I think I want to prioritize the family. That means some of the personal activities, the hobbies, they're going to go by the wayside.
I can see the whole wide world with these two eyes, and I can be whoever I wanna be, 'cause it's my life.
Hi, thanks for joining us for another episode of Ask Spurrell CPA. Today as the Edmonton Business Consultant, we're talking about balancing personal life and entrepreneurship. Again, as the Edmonton Business Consultant, we're talking about balancing personal life and entrepreneurship. I have May here with me today. May, have you had to make any sacrifices yet pursuing the CPA program?
Yes,
Yeah?
a lot.
Anything cut out so far?
Yeah, time with my family, time with my friends. I had to, even during my vacation, I had to sacrifice some time just to study CPA, make sure that I'm not falling behind. It does require a lot of sacrifice and a lot of balance.
It does, yeah. The CPA program is a lot like going down that road of entrepreneurship. And the quote that I have here is a Michael Gerber quote, author of The E-Myth, and he says, "With no clear picture of how you wish your life to be, how on earth are you going to live it? What is your primary aim? Where is the script to make your dreams come true? What is the first step to take, and how do you measure your progress? How far have you gone, and how close are you to getting to your goals?" And the statistic that we have here is, from Real Business, it says that entrepreneurs on average work 63% more hours than employees in the same industry. And the story that we have here is business owners, they get into business thinking that their personal life will remain the same when they get into the business. Sometimes they get into business thinking that they're going to have all of this free time. And the 4-hour work week is going to kick in. They think that their personal life is going to be the same. May, what are the questions these business owners should be asking?
They should ask, can business owners balance all aspects of their life, or will sacrifices be made?
So, the title of the video is balancing personal life. But really, it's not really a balance. There are not work-life balances. There are work-life trade-offs. You're effectively trading one thing for another. There is no perfect harmony of equilibrium. It's just you have to prioritize and make trade-offs. So there's certainly going to have to be sacrifices that are going to be made if you realistically want to be a successful business owner and sway those odds in your favor and put in the time that's going to be required to sway those odds in your favor.
Will time for personal activities be different for entrepreneurs with families?
I think it's significantly different. I mean, if you're a single entrepreneur, you have no family, you have no kids, you have no obligations like that, you might be able to get by with doing a lot of the same personal items, right? Because you're adding something big to your life, but you probably had a lot of fluff time in there anyways. But let's talk about the entrepreneur who goes from being an employee and then they had a fairly well-rounded personal life, and they have a lot of financial obligations or a lot of family obligations as well. They got a spouse and a couple of kids, and they're trying to maintain all of those. So I would suggest to you that the entrepreneur who has a family is going to have a much greater there's going to be a much greater to that entrepreneur's personal life than the one without the family. The one without the family might still be, accomplishing some of the things or doing a lot of the same tasks, but the one with the family, I mean, they're going to ignore their family, or they're going to ignore some of their hobbies, because if they want the business to succeed, it's going to require a certain amount of effort.
So in general, do you prioritize family or personal activities?
To me, I think I want to prioritize the family. That means some of the personal activities, the hobbies, they're going to go by the wayside. I mean, that's just how it's going to go for me. I have to be realistic. The time that you're going to put into the business, it's extra time. It's time that was not in your life before. You're not going to get this time freedom immediately after starting a business. And even if you progress through the business, if you still want to grow it to different lengths, that it's still going to require more time than most people consider. So you're going to have to cut something, and for me, it's generally cutting hobbies, not family time.
Mm-hmm. Should you try to combine family and personal interest activities?
I think that's good. So let's say you don't want to cut family time, but there's something that you can do with your family that aligns with your personal interests. Maybe there was a sport, and instead of you're playing it with a group of friends. Now you can get your family involved. Maybe it's not at the same level that you used to do it, or not at the same venues that you used to do it. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means that now you have to be more efficient with your time. And sometimes if you can accomplish two things at once and get your family involved in things that you used to do yourself, I mean, that's the power move where you're probably getting more bang for your buck.
What are some of the activities that you do not do anymore?
I don't see Oiler games anymore. I think there was one time I saw like over 40 Oiler games in person one year. So there's only like 41 home games plus a couple of preseason games, and I'm pretty sure I saw 95% of them one year. And this year, the entire balance of our season tickets went to customers. I don't think I saw a single one last year. So there's things like that. I used to play in various softball leagues, and I don't do that anymore. Those are some of the activities that I've cut out, so I don't have to do it at the expense of family activities. Right? So it's been that trade-off, right? I'm sure I could have seen those Oiler games, or I could have I could have played in some sort of sports league or something like that. But it would come at the expense of A, do I want to put in the necessary time for my business? And B, do I want to put in the time that's necessary for quality family life? But I can't have all three, and you have to make those sacrifices.
If you love what you do, will the sacrifice be easier?
Yeah, so if you find intrinsic reward from what you're actually doing, you actually like what you're doing, now, giving up on those other games is not as bad because you actually enjoy the business. This is something that you might do for free anyways. You would be interested in it, you would read about it, you would do it on the side anyways. Now, that's why people say it's important to do what you love, especially when you're running a business, because it's incredibly hard, and you're going to probably have to take away some of those other things that you do that provide you personal benefit. So if you don't love doing it, it's going to be incredibly hard to stick to, because now it's just a war of wills rather than, hey, you desire this fulfilling activity, but you're getting it from your work anyway, so you don't feel unfulfilled.
Is how you do things sometimes equally or more important than what you do?
Yeah, I think if you do them with pride, the way you onboard employees, the way you try to deliver customer excellence, there's a lot of businesses where the activity itself might be kind of mundane. Maybe you clean carpets. And probably no one, grew up thinking I want to be the greatest carpet cleaner in the world. That probably didn't happen, but it can come down to that same sort of pride that you do, that same sort of care and the interactions that you have while you're running the business. How you do it, if you're doing them well and you're striving for excellence, you might find yourself with the same level of fulfillment as doing tasks that you were doing for fun. Because what tends to be important is doing them well, doing them ethically, and doing them at a high level, and you start doing them that way, and sometimes you forget about, I'm not doing these things these trivial activities I used to do before.
Can choosing the right employees fulfill some of the lack of personal time?
Yeah, 100%. You're going to spend so much time with the employees that you have in the office. The worst thing you want to do is create an office full of employees that you don't like. So now you've given up a bunch of hobbies. You've made that trade-off to hang out more often with people that you don't like. But if you're if you're the business owner, that's no one's fault but your own. You've assembled that team. So you have to realize that you're making these sacrifices, and it's going to be a tough road. The last thing you want to do is surround yourself with people that you don't like.
Will choosing the right customers affect the quality of your life?
Yeah. So choosing the right customers, remember, it's not just that we choose the employees, ultimately we choose the customers too. And that can be hard. You have less choice when you're starting out. You gain more control of that as you move forward. And people think, well, how do I choose the customer? Well, you choose the customers by, what were the advertisements that you ran? What was your branding? What were your differentiation factors? What was your pricing? Were you the cheapest guy on the block, or did you have a value proposition that you provide better service? So ultimately, although you might not have the same level of control that you do with employees, you have a great deal of control of the customers you choose in any business as well. And if you got to realize you're giving up some things, but if you're giving up some things to work every day for really good people on good projects and doing them at an excellent level, it's really going to affect the quality of your life and help you, balance those, that kind of equilibrium where you feel fulfilled and you feel like you're not making too tremendous of a sacrifice that you can't stick with.
And how can a comprehensive schedule help maximize your time off?
Yeah, ultimately it comes down to that repeatable schedule. If you can get that repeatable schedule where you know everything that you need to get done in your business and you can put it on a calendar and you can do it over and over and over again, now you know when you actually have time off that it's really truly time off, that you can use to schedule for that family time or you can schedule for those hobbies because you have the confidence in knowing that everything that needs to get done gets done in that schedule. And it helps you avoid doing the things that are really, kind of unnecessary, which, tend to eat up a lot of time. And it can also, even get you to a better place where you can even start to delegate those tasks that are taking up your time, with more precision because you know exactly how much time it took you. So you can begin to delegate those times. So it's really going to maximize the amount of time you have off and the quality of it too, because you're not distracted, knowing that you have 8 things that are still not done. You're checking your phone, your email when you're supposed to be having that time off. So I think that's what we have here today. Thanks so much for joining us. As always, please hit the like and subscribe button so we can continue to deliver you tips on how to beat the odds at business. And as always, we look forward to any comments that you have so you can respond back. So we can respond back and use any input that you have to help develop future content. Thanks very much.